Brandon Schneider leading the way, the reigning Big 12 Coach of the Year, has guided Kansas to 94 wins during his tenure, and Kansas upset Texas here in Austin a year ago. We'll see what happens here in the revenge match as we are underway from the Moody Center. Kansas winning the opening tip. Jayhawks averaging right around 76 points per game this season. And that one bobbled out of bounds, and a quick turnover by the Jayhawks.
As we look at the starting five for Texas, if you remember last year, the game with these two here in Austin went to overtime, and it was neck and neck down into the fourth quarter. 23 turnovers apiece for those teams. Let's not hope we don't repeat that portion of it. But it's a cleaner game today.
Texas 3-2 over their last 5 matchups against the Jayhawks. Longhorns averaging 79 points per game. Dee Gaston has been playing the best offensive basketball of her career. But it's Sonya Morris, the transfer from DePaul, with the first bucket.
And this allows Texas to get into their full court press a little bit. They've done it a little bit less than they have in the last 2 seasons. But still problematic for a Kansas team.
Zakiya Franklin, senior from Lakeland, Florida, but they feed it down low to Tiana Jackson, working on Fai, who got a hand on it and altered the shot.
Yeah, good physicality right there by Fai, and Texas coming back the other way quickly.
Sonya Morris beating Kerskeeter, and she's got the first 2 buckets of the night.
Texas had only a couple of fast break points at OSU in that loss. I think they're going to try to turn the heat up a little bit, run a little bit more, get some easy looks.
Leonte underneath. Fai battling for it along with Jackson, and eventually the 6'6" senior comes down with it and gets the first bucket for Kansas.
In today's game, it's rarer and rarer to see 2 true posts on the floor at any one time. You're going to see those 2 tonight.
Jackson averaging 15 points and 12 rebounds per game. What a force in the middle for the Jayhawks. Gaston bobbled it. Regained control, working underneath, denied. Texas still with it. Gonzales with the miss. And it'll be Kansas ball.
This was his concern today, the third-year coach for Texas, was how could he play physical but keep his post players on the floor. He knows he needs them to be physical. They have to play without fouling.
Fai immediately goes to the bench. Taylor Jones comes in there. This is just her second game back from injury. Kerskeeter down low. Texas called for the foul. Jones can't believe it.
It'd probably be spotty the time she sees on the floor. She's just not in the shape to go extended minutes right now. Kansas is a team with 12 returning players this year. Just 2 new faces on this team, on the roster. Very experienced team and unafraid to come into Austin and play Texas.
A phenomenal Kansas team. They already beat number 14 Arizona on the road by 27 points earlier this year. Their first non-conference road win against a ranked team since 2014. But Sonya Morris has scored all the points for Texas so far. Shaylee in there pressuring and forcing the turnover. She's been a defensive beast.
Going against Yvette Mayberry, who's one of the 2 newcomers for Kansas this season. Terrific guard, but still kind of learning the system for Coach Brandon Schneider.
Texas top 10 in the nation in turnovers forced per game at 23. Forcing another one there moments ago. Gaston working in the paint off the back of the iron and gets it to go.
Shaylee very athletic, quick.
Zakiya Franklin splits the D, goes glass, Gaston with the board. Harmon has to chase that one down behind the back, lobs it to Jones. Texas with the bucket.
What a great job. Yeah, what a great job of ball control right there.
Tiana Jackson, that's not where she's comfortable with it. Here is Kerskeeter, one of the greatest outside shooters in program history. Yvette Mayberry delivers. Texas struggled defending the 3 at times the other night in Stillwater. For Kansas, that was their first tray. Turnover, Texas. Franklin over to Kerskeeter, hesitates, kicks it back out. Nearly got away from Chandler Prater, the junior. Kerskeeter from the corner. Bounces around and out. Gaston swatting at it, battling for it. Harmon comes up with it. Harmon told me her most favorite part of the game, it's not passing, it's not scoring, it's rebounding. And there's Shaylee, meanwhile, scoring from the corner.
Well, it's really good that Texas is able to get the rebounds.
Texas up by 6 with less than 4 to play in the first quarter. And they shoot Jackson down low, does Kansas. Her second bucket of the night. We were talking during the break that it was around this time last year in their meeting that Kansas was down by 7 early against Texas.
With an experienced team, this is not an uncomfortable place to be. You just need to settle down, take care of the basketball, keep doing what you're doing, or what you do well.
What they do well is feed Jackson down low, drawing another foul.
The more and more comfortable she gets.
She's only been there for 2 seasons, a bit of a late bloomer. Spent her first 2 years at Trinity Valley Community College in Athens, Texas, Northeast Texas. But is already among the greatest shot blockers all time in Kansas history. This is only her second season with the Jayhawks.
Yeah, 95 in her first season with Kansas last season. Hit 100 pretty quickly earlier this season.
Really worked on offense and rebounding this year. Speaking of offense, Sonya Morris is on fire.
Texas in that denial defense. They get out in the passing lanes. Great job going back door right there.
In foul trouble with 2. So that'll be 2 on Morris.
She knows it. Coach Vic Schaefer talks about it all the time. Any time on the bench for Sonya Morris is too long.
She's a competitor. Vic Schaefer said, listen, he challenges her in practice, but she came here to be challenged. She knew what she was stepping into.
Brandon Schneider talked a lot this morning in shoot-around about staying on the heels of the shooters for Texas, and that's what Kersgeter, every other guard, needs to do, is not give open looks.
Steve Gaston working in the paint and gets it to fall. You were shaking your head no.
It's, you know, D. Gaston has that kind of shot as we see a steal here by Texas.
Oh, wow, Gaston on the defensive end. Clock at 5. Holly Gonzales got to fire it up. No, it's Jones. Does she get it off? Well, it was blocked by Jackson regardless.
Anytime that happens to a team, you know they're going to come out in the next game and really focus on what they haven't done well.
Texas forcing 6 turnovers and holding Kansas to 25% shooting from the field. On the other end, Shaylee Gonzales with her first bucket of the night.
A very flashy scorer, fun to watch, and kind of getting used to conference play, I think.
2-time West Coast Conference Player of the Year, but how about Yvette Mayberry circling around the Texas D? She's quick out there, the 5'7" point guard. Muhammad working on Jackson, tried to kick it out to Holly, but turns it over. 2-1 back the other way, and Harmon takes the charge.
Rori Harmon does this a couple of times every single game.
The 41st charge taken by Texas this year, and now their 17th game of the season. Gonzales with a clear pass to the bucket, drops it in. I will say, for Texas, it's impressive that they're up 10 despite getting only 2 minutes from Hattie Fye, who picked up 2 fouls early in this one.
Well, I really thought Taylor Jackson came in, played some good minutes, and gave some size. Texas' defense overall has been tremendous here in this first half.
Shot clock at 7. Kersgeter, Holly all over her. Feeds Hatseleonte, no good. Jackson down low, looking for help. Back to Hatseleonte and drops it in. Hatseleonte averaging 7 points and 6 boards per contest. So Gaston stays out there with 2 fouls. Jayhawks shooting 31% from the field. Mayberry going around Muhammad in the corner to a wide open Kersgeter. She has now surpassed 1,300 points for her career. One of the best to ever do it from three-point land for Kansas, the senior.
Well, I think if Kansas is going to compete today, they need Kersgeter, they need Franklin, both of them to score some baskets. Great execution that last time down.
Muhammad, the freshman, down low. Jackson with the block. Muhammad wisely passed it out on the second chance. Gaston spinning in the paint.
The results are showing.
Gets a breather. Muhammad nearly forced the turnover. The second time tonight. They were trying to feed Jackson. Fye, who's back in the game, denied the entry. Gonzales to her left. Harmon. Testing Mayberry. Gonzales thought about the 3, driving into the paint. Harmon. Jackson trying to intimidate those Texas shooters. Down low, it's Fye with the and one. 4 double-doubles, averaging 12 and 9. Turnover forced by Texas. Harmon racing down the floor, trying to work her way around the defense. Halfway down, back out. Phi rips down the rebound. And called for the foul, Kansas. Look at Phi's aggressiveness out there.
You explain this better. Percentage of offensive rebounds they garner off of their own missed shots. Almost 43%.
There you go. You called it.
Lucky, he had a blind still, finds an 8-point occasion.
Holly gets it to fall. Shay Holly's had such a great season this year. Kerskeeter trying to get past Holly, trying to draw the foul, and she does. Vic Schaefer with his arms up.
Whether it's a 3-point shot, a shot in the lane, at 6 feet tall, she releases the ball at a very high spot.
Ever since the 3rd game of the year, she still played the 3rd most minutes on the entire team. Gonzales. Harmon with the pull-up jumper comes up short. Jayhawks came in averaging 76 points per game. They've been held to 19 so far. Jackson to Prater. Tried to get past the freshman. Muhammad throws up a wild shot, got bailed out.
Taking care of the ball, finding ways to score.
This is a Kansas team that at one point this year not only won 7 in a row, they won all 7 by at least 20 points. First time they've done that since 1980.
Well, Kansas has been on an upward trend over the last few years, and what Brandon Schneider's wanted to do is create a program that continues to be in the NCAA tournament, be in the top 25.
Shaylee Gonzales came to Texas to get to the NCAA tournament. Coming up with some strong offensive play in the first 9 points in this quarter. Kerskeeter with 2 defenders on her, somehow gets it to go, falling to the floor. Wenentanda, another Texas freshman, on the floor here in the final few minutes, turns it over. Kerskeeter back the other way. Wenentanda trying to get in her way and called for the foul. It was huge last year in their upset of the Longhorns. 6th all-time in three-pointers in Kansas history. And all of a sudden, Jayhawks within 8. With about 2 to play in the first half, a big final 2 minutes and a half coming up.
2-3 zone.
Wenentanda over to Harmon. Texas, they are shooting 52% from the field. Harmon buries that one for her first bucket of the night.
Rori Harmon has hunted her shot quite a bit more in the last 5 or 6 games for Texas. I think early on, coming back from that injury, kind of laid low a little bit, got the ball to her teammates more often.
Mayberry looking for space. Leonte getting it down low to Jackson. The foul called on Texas. If that's on Phi, that's her 3rd.
Not allowing her to get around and catching the basketball. Look how physical it is down there.
The foul trouble. Otherwise, she's been terrific in her first year with the Longhorns.
Well, we saw that early on. You and I talked in the preseason when Hadi Phi was in. She was in for about 10 minutes, had 8 rebounds. That kind of goes with the territory with Hadi Phi.
Jackson with a couple of free throws. At least 3 for 6 now from the line. 7 points and 5 boards. And one of the best post players in the nation, Tiana Jackson.
They continue to go at it down low.
Taylor Jones in there as well. Jones, the transfer from Oregon State. He's played 8 minutes here in the first half for most action since November. Holly down low! Jay Holly up to 7 points. Tied for 2nd most. Leonte, and there's a foul on Muhammad. A foul fest now in the first half.
Likes to take the 3 or put nice easy shots up here. Good try by Holly, keeping that left pivot foot down and powering up through Franklin. She carries a pretty good load, has some pretty difficult classes.
Well, meanwhile now, Kansas getting an extreme advantage at the free throw line. This is now their 16th free throw attempt. Texas has taken just 3 attempts from the charity stripe. Gonzales quickly firing from outside and buries it. Shaylee Gonzales, she has 10.
Well, another assist for Rori Harmon, who continues to find the scorers.
Harmon with 8 assists in the first half. And Kansas answers from outside. Zakiya Franklin
Yeah, KB Franklin, that is something she's capable of doing. A lefty, accomplished shooter, selective three-point shooter, but they need her scoring.
Jayhawks with 3 threes on the night. Texas with 4. Longhorns 4 for the last 4 from the field. Final 15 seconds of the half coming up. About a 4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Harmon making her move. Pull-up jumper. Buries it.
Kansas will continue to run, yes.
I think they realize that'll do it.
A really nice job of finding players in the course of their quarter court offense, executing something that Texas did not do well, I think, early in the season. They were impatient, didn't have great chemistry offensively.
The second half underway. Harmon with the miss. Same starting lineup for Texas that began the game. Sonya Morris out there. She had 9 points just in the first few minutes of the game, but then picked up 2 fouls. Has those 9 points in 9 minutes on the other end. Mayberry misses from the corner.
Yeah, and I said Sonya Morris wasn't going to sit for long. Sat for about 11 minutes in that first half. Harmon
got a magnet on that ball connected to her hand. Rarely turns it over. Morris thought about the shot. Over Kerskeeter. 11 points for Morris in just over 9 minutes.
Yeah, not good offense right there, but a great job of making a basket. Sonya Morris has got that patented step back, gives herself a little bit of space.
For Kansas, they've been held to 8 for 23 shooting with 11 turnovers. They feed Jackson. She's double teamed. Kicks it out to a wide open Kerskeeter.
Yeah, great composure right there. And I thought that was really good help by Sonya Morris on the inside.
With Gonzales in the paint, off the glass of the rim. Faye with the rebound. Unable to get the putback to go.
Well, the important thing right now for Jackson, as you saw her streaking down, missing that layup, is just to keep her composure out there. She, in the past, has gotten frustrated, maybe let that affect her game. We've all missed layups. Just hang in there and keep playing.
Franklin working on Harmon and somehow gets it to fall. Wild shot from Zakiya Franklin, 9-point game. Gonzales feeding Morris. Gaston in the paint on Jackson. No, just off the back of the iron. Both these teams missing a couple of close looks in the opening moments of this half. Mayberry gets it to fall.
Well, that's a couple of times down that Rori Harmon's been beat off the dribble by either.
So is Morris driving to her left. Denied by Kerskeeter. All ball. Jackson back the other way, trying to take it in all alone, and drew the foul on Harmon. Obviously imposing size, but showing off her athleticism and agility as well, but misses the first.
Sending her over to sit down. I thought Gaston was a little bit rushed on some of her looks offensively.
Texas 0 for the last 5 from the field. Harmon having trouble getting it past Jackson. 5'6" Harmon trying to get it past 6'6" Jackson.
Oh, and that's a great job defensively of guarding that out-of-bounds play. You make it so much more difficult for Harmon to get the ball in.
The wingspan for Jackson. Harmon somehow found Morris. Fires it up with a miss. Jackson fighting for the board. Texas comes up with it. Harmon down low to Faye. Denied. Stays with it. Misses that one. Hatseleonti. Kansas aggressive here in the second half, outscoring Texas 8-2.
Well, and the crowd really getting into it here at Moody Center.
Mayberry driving in to Faye, and the foul on Hattie Faye. That'll be number 4. So Faye will take a seat on the bench after picking up foul number 4. He's only played 11 minutes tonight. Back to the line goes Kansas.
12 for 19 for Kansas. Texas 1 for 3 from the free throw line.
That's now 20 free throw attempts for the Jayhawks, and they are within 4 as Texas continues to check on Faye. 10-0 Kansas run. Texas just 1 for 9 from the field here in the second half. Morris finally gets it to go.
A really nice job of delivering the basketball to Sonya Morris. Again, you see Rori Harmon with a great pass. Texas with some pressure here.
Mayberry down low. Great pass underneath to Kerskeeter.
Well, that's the one thing I think Kansas has learned from some of the losses for Texas is if you can beat that first line of defense out of bounds and get the ball down the floor, you can get some easy looks.
At a ball game now, again, Texas led by as many as 14. It's down to 4.
Good job by Rori to direct everybody here. Needs to get into dribble drive, get some motion on the offense.
Shot clock at 5. Gonzales in trouble. Hands it off to Morris. Bumps Franklin. Comes up short. Taylor Jones with the board. And one!
Getting the best of her here right on this play.
Take a timeout here from the Moody Center. Texas up by 6. Shooting stellar as usual from the 6th leading three-point shooter.
Good hustle. Kerspeter's out there. She hasn't come off the floor yet in this game. Continues to make plays.
Back to Jackson they go. Got a favorable matchup one-on-one and takes advantage. Texas has been double-teaming her at times.
She can play back to the basket, make a move. That's great. Once she faces up, she just looks much more uncomfortable. Texas,
after shooting 60% in the first half, the intensity picking up here in the second half. The lob too far for Hatseleonte from Mayberry.
A good defense right there.
Only averaged less than 8 points per game in the first month of the season, but now averaging double digits for the year. Harmon with the bucket.
Time and time again, just elevating over the top of the defense.
Clutch basket for Harmon. Less than 3 to play in the third quarter. Holly all over Kerspeter. Somehow they feed it down low to Franklin. Couple of Texas players in the way. Franklin controls it. Less than 10 on the shot clock and a travel.
Well, it's been a battle inside. If you watch inside, a lot of bodies flying around, a lot of people flying around, everybody going after the ball. This game is very important for these two teams. You do not want to lose 2 in a row in conference play.
Jones through the foul.
Taylor Jones didn't participate in preseason practices, so she was ready to go and in the lineup right around the time the season started. Averaging 10 points a game, one of those many players for Texas for that balanced scoring, but her presence on the inside is just a difference maker. Poised, composed, long on the inside.
And 3 for 3 now from the free throw line. 7 points in 12 minutes off the bench. By the way, that was Tiana Jackson picking up a big third foul. On the other end, nobody back there on defense for Texas.
I like that play call right there.
At least 3 tonight. 9-point game. Gaston back in there and immediately turns it over. Jackson again with the steal. This time she is able to finish. How about Tiana Jackson with a team-high 4 steals?
And she's got that quickness, that athleticism.
Jones collects it.
3 seconds.
Final
Texas,
20 seconds of the quarter.
Kansas can feel that they're in the game, that they have an opportunity. They continue to fight.
Franklin waiting. 10 on the clock. Hand off to Jackson. Now it's Kerspeter. Fires one up from downtown with the miss. Texas with the board. Harmon looks up, heaves it down the floor. And we will head to the fourth quarter.
For Texas, again, limited minutes in practice. Just the last 2 or 3 days with Texas. So this is the first real time she's seen on the floor for extended time this week or this month.
Kansas is shooting 58% in this half. Texas 28%. The turnover nearly forced Jackson, somehow stayed with it. Kansas now with 21 free throw attempts.
Well, Jackson historically is about a 55, 58% free throw shooter. Non-conference this year, she shot the ball much better.
Pulls her team within 6, making 1 of 2. That one nearly got away from Jones. Amina Muhammad on the wing. Holly. Rori Harmon with 6 points and 9 assists. Amina Muhammad, shot clock at 8. Holly, Texas having trouble finding a good look. Gonzales takes that one and buries it. Shaylee Gonzales is up to 15.
And a great read again off the dribble drive. Just the defense laid back. She takes the 3.
Texas back out to a 9-point lead. Jackson hands it off to Franklin. Over to Kerspeter, gets a good look past Gonzales and answers. Holly Kerspeter has 18 of her own.
Kansas does a terrific job of running that weak side screen to get Kerspeter open, and she wasn't really open on that play, but found a way to step back. Texas led by as many as 14.
Muhammad underneath with a huge and one. 8:20 to play in the fourth quarter. Franklin with the scoop off the glass and the miss.
Yeah, just couldn't keep a hold of the basketball. Fell out of her right hand. She's left-handed naturally, but she makes that move to the right quite often.
Rori Harmon. 3 for 7 from the field. There's an assist for Harmon. Rori Harmon now with the 8th double-digit assist game of her career. Kansas down by 10. Just over 7 to play. Mayberry beating Jackson, trying to go around Jones, and she does. She is so athletic for a player who stands at 6'6".
Well, I think she's just much more comfortable against Jones as well, who's a little bit less body on body with her. She can create a little more space and move.
Harmon trying to create space of her own. Gonzales, she's been hot all night, and that continues. Shaylee Gonzales, the transfer from BYU with 20, and Kansas steps out of bounds.
Shaylee Gonzales comes off this down screen. Her player comes underneath the screener. Too much space for Shaylee Gonzales. The last 3 baskets have been that way. Somebody in blue needs to get out and get a hand in Shaylee Gonzales' face.
The transfers have been huge for Texas tonight as Shaylee Gonzales has now tied her career high as a Longhorn with 22 points. And time running out for Kansas. Mayberry, speedy point guard. They've held her in check in the second half. Back to Jackson they go. Mayberry baseline denied by Shay Holly. Rori Harmon. Again, Texas looking for a 25 win for the first time this year. Jones misses badly but gets the board. Swatted right into the hands of Gonzales, who now has a career high in a Longhorns uniform with 24 points. And a timeout on the floor. It's been a bizarre game, Andrea, because Texas up by 15, but not getting a lot of playing time at all from Hattie Fye and Morris due to foul trouble.
Yeah, sometimes games don't go how you planned, and we really thought we'd see a lot of Hattie Fye out there.
2.5 to play in Austin. Harmon making her move, kicks it out to a wide open Muhammad with the miss. Strom with the board, but stolen by Gonzales, who has done it all tonight. That will probably ice it. Texas up by 15. Shaylee Gonzales with 26 points.
And what a fourth quarter for Shaylee Gonzales. She has definitely led the team at the offensive end, been a heads-up player, making plays. This game, she just sneaks up from behind right there, always playing hard, looking for a way to gain an advantage. At least that face, though, never changes expression.
And for Texas, quite a bounce-back effort following the loss. The defense tonight has forced 20 turnovers and held a Kansas team that averaged nearly 80 points per game to just 57. And Texas comfortably ahead by 13. Longhorns looking to move to 8-1 here at the Moody Center. Harmon fouled.
The way she plays on the floor, she leads by example. Willing passer.
That was such a devastating loss for Texas. 4 games after Harmon came back from injury. They lost 4 for the season, but Harmon's been on fire over the last 5 games or so.
Yeah, look at those assist numbers. Those are impressive, elite numbers nationally.
When you look ahead quickly to Iowa State on Sunday, number 15 in the nation, but without Suarez, what do you make of an early preview of that matchup?
Well, you know, Iowa State's good without Suarez. They were good last season. Texas really had their number. Iowa State has not beat Texas in the last couple of years under Vic Schaefer's guidance.
30 seconds as Texas on their way to taking down a top 25 team for the first time this year. Gonzales fires one up, and a rare miss for the transfer from BYU. Final few seconds here in Austin. Mayberry with the ball. Kerskeeter from the corner. Off the backboard. Final seconds, 5. And there we go. Texas takes down number 23, Kansas, 72-59.
I'll tell you what, from beginning to end, Texas really came out with their hair on fire. They set the tone defensively, and then the offense got into it. Sonya Morris early on, she hit a number of key shots in the first quarter. You see Shay Holly behind her, who came in off the bench.